coolest urban radio station. It's where you want to be.
People of Earth, I have an important announcement to make. Listen to me. One that you've been waiting for a long time.
Andile, get away now. Andile, ole para mfal. Andile, arang adim ole para.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How's everybody doing tonight? I'd like to welcome to the stage
King Andile, Mama.
to everybody in the house. Give a warm round of applause for
King Andile, Mama.
And he captures the moment.
King Andile, Mama.
Man, it is extraordinary.
Let's go straight into Bafana conversation now. Pilani, we play Morocco on Tuesday.
Unfortunately, we are progressing to the next round. I just want you to prepare your bright tech and everything. Don't invite in a team. As a sub-Mutumadi, we are ready to go forward and progress to the quarterfinals.
Mark?
I do believe we have what it takes to beat Morocco because I've always said on our day, we can beat anyone on the continent.
Nadim?
Whatever happens on Tuesday against Morocco, we'll just say well done, Bafana. Even if we are going to welcome them on Wednesday or Tambo.
So Bafana's losing to, according to you?
Oh, definitely. You're coming back on Wednesday.
It was definitely even. Gents, we'll do it again on Friday, yeah? Lilo?
You're not going to see him on Wednesday?
What's happening on Wednesday?
Or Tambo.
Oh. Gary L. Smith, of course, being a Ghanaian man himself. Gary, I know I sound very upbeat when I'm greeting you. I can imagine you're still in a period of mourning.
We are back to square one. We've been here for the last couple of Africa Cup of Nations.
This has been, by far, the best AFCON I've witnessed. From a footballing point of view, organizational point of view, broadcast point of view, what the SABC Sport has done in this broadcasting of this has been absolutely breathtakingly amazing. All round, the best AFCON in history. We've shown every single game live. SABC Sport proudly putting together a world-class, you hear me, production.
Sky is the limit, and you know that you can have what you want, be what you want, have what you want, be what you want.
Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. Game over.
Exactly 8 after the R6 of the mighty Metro FM. Thank you so much, Thibaut Touch. He's back to Moresh. He's engaging me on matters of love. He's engaging me on matters of the heart. It's that kind of show, though, where, you know, they move from financial stuff to hearty stuff, and they do it again tomorrow between 3 and 6. Do join Touch and the show. Pila, Super Dave, and my Lins is there, Morena. It's a show like no other. I bet you. I say this all the time. Between 3 and 6, any other dial that you can switch to, I urge you to, because you're going to come back very quickly after that. It's 9 after the hour 6, and it's quite interesting because yesterday, so people ask me all the time, Andile, how do you know every sport the way you do? Like, you speak about everything. I say, yeah, I've got a very good grasp of almost everything because I watch almost everything, but more so, I read almost everything, you know, so that's where I get it. But I'm not brilliant at everything, and that's where my team comes in, and I've got an amazing team. Part of the team is Malcolm. Malcolm, switch on your mic very quickly. Malcolm is also the technical producer. What did I ask you? What conversation did we have yesterday about Hamilton?
F1.
What did I say to you?
No, you said he can only win the 8 when he goes to Ferrari.
It's 10 after the hour 6. We're going to be speaking about Mr. Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton leaving Ferrari. It's a story that I saw from Chris Midland. We're going to be speaking to the man that broke it, to me at least, to say, hey, this is what you've written. What do we know? What is fact and what is not? What could inspire something like this? Jody Scheckter, the only South African in fact, winner of F1 when he was with Ferrari back in the 70s. He won it then. He'll come to us as well and speak to us. He's got an interview at the moment with BBC. After that, he's coming straight to us. We're having that conversation with him as well. Are we going to see the first black man in red? Is Lewis Hamilton going to be with Ferrari? And is this the 8 that the world has been waiting for? Does it go to the place that already holds the 7? And that's Ferrari. We'll have that conversation when we come back. Chris Midland already waiting.
Submissions for this year's Metro FM Music Awards are now open. And the winner is... To enter, simply log on to www.metrofmmusicawards.co.za. Make some beautiful noise! For inquiries, email info@metrofm.co.za. Yeah! Metro FM.
If you don't know, you better ask somebody. It's bigger, it's better. The Metro FM Awards are back.
It's where you want to be. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
F1 journalist and broadcaster Chris Midland now joining us. Chris, I spoke to Max as well about has he seen Lewis? Have they had a chat beyond the podium? And this is what he had to say.
You know, we're all professional enough, and he was straight away, you know, he was really good about it. Of course, I think it also is a bit different. You know, he has won already 7, and I had never won one. As painful as it is, he still has 7 titles, you know, so I think he's all right. But of course, we all want to win, but we also respect each other a lot. And I'm very thankful, of course, for this whole season that we have been battling, because I think it has been great.
It's the voice of Max Verstappen, of course, Formula One champion for the year 2021.
I think what history will eventually recall as 2 of the greatest drivers that F1 will have seen, fighting each other at the top of their game still. I think that will make it one of the best seasons we've seen.
6 to 7 p.m.
It's 12 after the hour, 6 of the mighty Metro FM. Welcome to it. It's Sports Night Amplified with Andile. I am Andile Ngube. Now speaking to Chris Midland, who's a freelancer at F1 journalist, a broadcaster for Race Mag. Follow them. It's at Race Mag, Motorsport, and others, of course. So much that he does Chris Midland. Follow him on Twitter. It's on X, rather. It's at Chris Midland. That's MEDLAND F1. Chris, it's been a while. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me on. Yeah, it has been, hasn't it? We haven't had something this big for a while.
Yeah, I mean, geez, I don't remember the last time with something this big. I think it would have to be that mix-up with when Chris, what was it? When was it Mercedes? Yeah, when Mercedes lost it at their death, and we saw Max Verstappen taking the first one. But this here is engulfing the world at the moment. I read your article on it. You're the first person I saw it from. How much of reality and truth is weighed in what we're hearing?
Oh, it's certainly happening. I'll admit I wasn't the first one to get wind of it, but once you start seeing little whispers and rumours, you start asking questions, and it's going to be that Lewis Hamilton moves to Ferrari in 2025. So he'll replace Carlos Sainz because Charles Leclerc already has a contract for beyond the end of this year and next year. Actually, he signed an extension just a week ago, so it's a bit of a blockbuster lineup, but it's really caught everyone by surprise because Hamilton himself only signed a new deal at Mercedes at the kind of second half of last year, originally to stay until the end of 2025. But it appears there are break clauses in that contract at the end of this season, and he's opted to use it.
But do we know the why? Why would he want to leave Mercedes? Why would you want to leave them when they seem to be getting a new car ready for that 2025 season in particular? We're hearing so many stories about how they want to be back on the podium. They want this car to do better than what we saw, the mess of last season. Why would he want to leave?
So it's the question that everyone's asking, and I think a big part of it is, if you look right now, Red Bull are the heavy favourites for the next 2 years, realistically. There's a chance that they will be caught, but by who is a question mark. Now, Hamilton's been part of that Mercedes team for the last two seasons when they've actually failed to keep up with Red Bull, and Ferrari has been a match for Mercedes in those 2 years. But also, we've actually, they were quicker, winning more races in 2022. They are the only team that won a race other than Red Bull last year in 2023. And Hamilton gets on very well with Fred Vasseur, the team principal there. But also, Ferrari just has this kind of romantic pull that so many drivers go for. They want to race at some point in their career for Ferrari. And for Hamilton, if that chance is ever going to happen, it's got to take it now. He's going to be 40 when he joins that team next year. So he's not going to get another opportunity.
If you remember, and you cast back to last season a little bit. You remember a very frustrated Hamilton with some of the decisions that were being made at Mercedes, and a little bit of head-butting there as well. And I wonder how much of that, gets put into a decision like this, because he wasn't always happy with the decisions that were made last season.
Exactly. He said actually that the team didn't really listen to him for what he wanted from the car last season when they were trying to recover from a bad 2022, and had a lot of the same problems last season. And I think that's just sown enough seeds of doubt. And let's be honest, he's got 7 World Championships. He's got nothing else to prove on track. But it would probably be a bigger deal for his legacy to go to number 8 at Ferrari, where Michael Schumacher won so many of his championships and also sits in 7, compared to if he stayed at Mercedes and did it there. But I think, in a sense, that there's nothing for him to lose by making the move. It's a very exciting and romantic move for any driver to make. But also sometimes, it's a fresh start. It's invigorating. It was 2013 that he moved to Mercedes originally, so over a decade there. And I think that's the biggest driver move we've had until today, essentially. This is the biggest shock since he left McLaren from Mercedes back then. And that turned out to be the right call. So history would say you've got to trust him.
You bring up McLaren, and then the name Fred Messiah comes up, and then we wonder how much of that name could potentially have a hand in this particular deal. He was with him out at McLaren, and now he's at Ferrari, and all of a sudden, this one thing that we've been hearing that, every season, is he going to sign, becomes a reality. Fred, does he have a big hand in this, you think?
I think Fred had some hand in it, yes. He actually managed, or ran the teams that Hamilton won his final junior championships with before he joined McLaren in Formula One. So he played a big role in his kind of development as a young driver. So he had a good relationship from that. And I think that always means that Hamilton would be open and quite like that partnership if he ever did join Ferrari. But it sounds like it was the chairman of Ferrari, John Elkann, that actually pushed harder. He was very keen to have a big name in there. He wanted the biggest names racing for Ferrari. And in some senses, you can see why. If you're not winning races, but you still have the most marketable driver in the world, then commercially you're going to be a success, whatever happens. And it was actually that he pushed very hard, and then with Vasseur at the helm, and Ferrari showing some good signs of recovery during the second part of last season. I think a lot of that's come together. And, of course, it will be a huge deal financially as well. Let's not get away from that. But Hamilton certainly deserves that in terms of he's done everything he can on track and is the most widely recognised sportsman in Formula One.
I mean, it was such a romantic story, wouldn't it? It would end beautifully. It would be like a Cinderella tale here. Fred, the man that was with him in the juniors when he was coming up, to retire at Ferrari with him having won that 8th would be something spectacular. But also, you speak about money. I can imagine they're going to need to break every boundary that's ever been put up in F1 to make this deal go through. It's going to be numbers like we've never heard.
Potentially, yes. I mean, I haven't had any firm figures kind of said my way so far, and rarely do we get them. It tends to be some of the tabloid newspapers will throw some numbers out there and start to find out which ones are closest. But yeah, it's going to be a huge deal. I'm almost certain it will be the one that makes him the highest paid Formula One driver of all time. But he was doing pretty well for himself at Mercedes too. And I don't think it will have been money that made this move happen. But it is going to be something that's also going to be a positive. And why not? Because, if you've earned the right to earn it, go and take advantage of that, especially if you are comparing like for like. And there's not really a huge amount of difference recently between Mercedes and Ferrari, other than the fact that it feels like Mercedes haven't been moving forward, that they've been struggling under these new regulations. And perhaps Hamilton's seen something internally that says he doesn't think they're going to get over that.
What does this mean for Mercedes, though? I mean, they're losing Lewis Hamilton, which is a big deal. Commercially, in particular, you're losing the biggest name in F1, but it's at a time when you're struggling as well. Your car isn't the best out there. How do they recover from this? What do they do next after finding out and knowing that Lewis is going?
Well, the best thing they can do is have a quick car this year, and that's what they've already done. So fingers crossed for them in that sense that they do have one. Because that will also give Hamilton the chance to bow out on a high from that team, and George Russell as well to prove that he can be the next driver to lead it forwards. But at the same time, Mercedes is still going to be such an attractive seat to so many drivers, and lots of them are out of contract at the end of this season. So Carlos Sainz is losing that seat at Ferrari, and I think, in a sense, it's kind of harsh on him. Understandably why he'd go for Lewis Hamilton. But Sainz did a good job last year. He's the only driver that won a race outside of Red Bull. He is a good talent that could be an option for Mercedes to pick up. So I think what Mercedes need to do is show some signs of progress this year, show some stability, and if they can do that, then maybe they can pick up essentially the best driver available because they will want to come and drive for that vacant seat. Fernando Alonso perhaps could be looking for one last attempt at a championship with someone like Mercedes. So really they just need to steady the ship this year and show that it's not actually a team in decline. If it does that, it actually, I think, will be okay. It's just lost a lot of marketability in Lewis.
Personalities are a big thing. Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, how do you see the two of them getting along?
I think very well, partly because Lewis has generally gone on very well with all of his teammates. It was only really the Fernando Alonso years when they were at different points in their career. Lewis was much younger then. Alonso was younger too. They clashed. That was back at McLaren at the kind of before even 2010 sort of time. So we're going back 15 years now. But with everyone else who's gone on well, Charles Leclerc similarly has always gone on very well with all of his teammates. He's been sort of brought up through the ranks at Ferrari, so he's got huge respect there. He won't feel threatened, I think, in terms of his future, and he can see that he can learn a lot from Lewis. This is a driver towards the end of his career. He's going to outlast him in terms of racing in Formula One. So I think they will get on well. They're both good characters in that sense who have been able to do that in the past in front-running teams with teammates that can give them a tough fight. So I actually think it's a really exciting lineup. It's great to see that kind of pairing now.
I don't want you to go anywhere, Chris. I want to take a quick break because when I come back, I want to, dispel some myths that come from the conspiracy theorists who've had the 8 number, in many theories. I just want to dispel some of those and get your thoughts on them. Let's take a quick ad break first.
Join the Best Value Network with Telkom and save up to 300 Rand when you purchase any selected Telkom prepaid device at our participating retail partners. Plus, you get free 5 gigabytes anytime data, 5 gigabytes night surfer data, and a 25-minute all-network voice bundle once off with every purchase. Offer available at your nearest Pep, Ackermans, TFG, Mr. Price, and other participating retail stores. Get it now.
Success looks different for all of us. What we do have in common is our eagerness for a brighter tomorrow. A tomorrow where a parent's hope becomes a child's reality. A tomorrow where success is not just owning a degree, it's owning the pathway to the rest of your life. Own tomorrow with Richfield. Study an undergraduate or postgraduate degree online or on campus and get one step closer to a career defined by you. Ayifambeni. Apply today at richfield.ac.za.
A wonderful world of more is just a few clicks away. A world where you earn more audacious rewards to help you until the end of the month. You get more convenience with easy online banking. And you earn interest on your positive MyWorld balance with even more interest in your savings pocket. Get more on africanbank.co.za with an African Bank MyWorld account. T's and C's apply. African Bank, audacity to believe. African Bank Limited is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. NCR registration number NCRCP 7638.
Pizza Stories by Roman's Pizza.
Dough. No, not the moolah kind. Pizza dough. Dough makes up half the taste of a pizza, right? Roman's Pizza makes fresh dough every few hours, which is very, very important because fresh is much, much better than frozen. Who likes to eat their toppings on cardboard? So you have no need to worry about the dough or the dough because you get any 2 large Savor Flavor pizzas for $159.80. Roman's Pizza, best value.
Sports Night Amplified with Ndile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
It's 18:23 on the mighty Metro FM. Chris Medland and I joins us. We're speaking all things Formula One. Big breaking news is that Lewis Hamilton will be leaving Mercedes to join Ferrari in the 2025 season. Chris, I mean, there's been so many conspiracy theories around him winning the 8. Formula One doesn't want him to win number 8. Nobody wants to see him surpass what Schumacher's done. And now they're all coming out to say the only way the compromise could be made is if he does it at Ferrari, who already own the other record of 7. There's no guarantee, though, that he'll get 8, even at Ferrari.
No, not at all. If anything, I think you could argue that it's slightly less likely if you just look at recent history because of how dominant Mercedes has been. But the team you'd want to move to if you're looking for number 8 is Red Bull, and Red Bull are not willing to give Lewis a seat because they've got Max Verstappen there. They don't need to make that sort of change. They've got their lead driver that they're happy with that's winning them championships. So he's kind of going for a change of scenery, something refreshing for him, and a fresh challenge that's very romantic for a lot of drivers. But no, there's absolutely no guarantee that he'd get an 8 there. The big opportunity to anyone, though, is going to come in 2026. And in that sense, you don't know which team you want to be driving for. So it's going to be brand new regulations, and when those come into effect, any team could get it right and become the quickest team. So it was Red Bull that got it right in 2022, but if you think back to 2017, 5 years before that, it was Mercedes that were dominant under new regulations. So you've got to kind of hope you're in the right place for a new set of rules. And Hamilton will be hoping he is, but at the same time, there's no way you could manufacture picking who's going to win the title in that sense.
Chris, my first thought upon hearing this and seeing this on your Twitter, it's at Chris Medland. Do follow him there. The story is there. He has written it. My first thought was he must have seen the plans that Mercedes have, not only this season with what is said to be a quicker car, but for seasons to come. And he must have thought to himself, surely this is not good enough. Surely this is not what's going to win me an 8th or keep me up there. What's going to stop me from having the season I had last season and the season before. That's the only thing that could make sense to me, because if they are working really, really hard and they're finding some breakthroughs in these cars and he sees that and he feels like it's faster and he feels like he's being listened to in terms of the changes that need to be made, he stays.
Potentially, yes. I think if they were definitely doing things that really encouraged him, that they were going to be winning championships again. But at the same time, again, a lot of it is doing. Obviously, the last 2 years have hurt Lewis's faith in the team a little bit. But he will only have seen what they're doing for the next 2 years. So he'll have a picture of what they've done for this season and whether he's happy with that or not. But for 2025 as well, that's likely to be an evolution of this car. And then for 2026, the teams can't actually work on those cars yet because they don't have the regulations. They've not been published to make sure that they can't start working on them too early, and it kind of levels the playing field a little bit. So there's a lot of guesswork at play in terms of who will be competitive. But sometimes it's worth just taking that gamble, In some ways, I actually think the partnership between Hamilton and Mercedes can be good for both sides. Mercedes might still get it right, but they'll kind of do it with a fresh lineup moving forward for a longer term, compared to Lewis looked like he was probably very near the end of his career. So I think it's one of those where we'll only be able to really judge it well in hindsight. But I remember when he left McLaren for Mercedes, everyone criticised him and said it was a crazy move because McLaren had been successful, Mercedes hadn't. And in hindsight, it was a genius move. And Hamilton obviously had a feeling, but was told enough that made him happy in that sense. So, you'd imagine with the information he has to hand, then he's comfortable with this decision.
What sort of legacy do you think he leaves at Mercedes? Do you think he walks away and they're happy to see him go and they're like, hey, you know what you've done with us, the 7 years that you gave us of winning was absolutely brilliant, go well, have a great time moving forward, and he's still heralded as one of the greats of Mercedes? Do you think that's a kind of goodbye this is going to be?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that Hamilton's got this deal done as well early because almost out of courtesy to Mercedes, the fact that we're going to hear about it at this time of the year suggests that they've had discussions. He's let them know. Obviously, it gives try and line up who they want to replace him, so that they've got all of that kind of in order nice and early. And then that means it's not too disruptive. So I think he's had such a huge amount of success there and been a massive part of that team's turnaround that I think realistically it's going to be one where he is very, very much given a good send-off.
Listen, to be honest, I think it's going to inject some much needed. We know what Netflix did for F1. I think this is going to be the next thing that just tips it over the edge over the next 2 years. I think it's going to be the next big story. I think it's going to be the one thing that the world is looking at, and it's going to give an injection to the already, very, very, very now, as far as the world is concerned, hyperbolized Formula One. So I look forward to it. Chris, thank you so much for always taking our call.
Thank you very much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Always love having him as Chris Medland. He's right in the middle of things as far as F1 is concerned. But have a listen to this. This was last year, I think it was. Yeah, it was around about mid last year when somebody had asked Lewis Hamilton about his move to Ferrari, because this has been brewing for a while now. This is a conversation that has been, been had in corners, and some people had picked it up. This is what he had to say.
I don't feel like we're still a championship-winning team. It's just we've had the wrong car. We've made, there have been some decisions that have been made over the past 2 years that have not been ideal, and we're working our way through that. Most of all the energy is going towards, we have a new upgrade this weekend. The team have worked incredibly hard to bring this upgrade. We already, after Bahrain, decided that that's what we were going to do, and so I was a little bit gutted when the last race got cancelled because I was excited to try this new package.
So
Soccer fans, it's time to score the ultimate goal with Hollywood Bets. With a max payout of up to 30 million rand and over 100 soccer markets to bet on. Bet online now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
Open your world of more audacious rewards to use on data, airtime, electricity, or banking fees. More sharing with family with 5 linked accounts and flexibility with an overdraft when you switch your salary. Get more on africanbank.co.za with an African Bank My World account. T's and C's apply. African Bank, audacity to believe. African Bank Limited is an authorized FSP. NCR registration number NCRCP 7638. Underwritten by God Risk Life Limited and licensed life insurer.
Cheers to 2024 with summer savings on deals like 750ml Gordon's Gin, all variants for just $159.99 each. Celebrate an endless summer only at Checkers Liquor Shop. Valid until 8 February, not for persons under the age of 18. Drink responsibly. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM.
Jody Scheckter, he's a legendary F1 racer. Joining us on our conversation with Jody is legendary commentator, author, and journalist Maurice Hamilton.
The thing about Jody's arrival was it was very spectacular. You couldn't fail to notice this name, Jody Scheckter, and people started to say, well, who is this guy? Jody was, how do I put this, could be quite blunt and quite direct, and he wasn't necessarily terribly popular with the media. So I think that's
can I comment on that?
From.
Please do, Jody.
Yeah, I was quite proud. I won the Lemon Prize for 3 years in a row, and that was the one that was most uncooperative to the journalists. I was very proud of that. But
6 to 7 p.m.
It's 18:32 on the Mighty Metro FM. It's been breaking news, and it's the biggest news in Formula One for many. The biggest since, since he won the 7th. For me, nothing has been bigger than what happened back in 1979. I always say that with a smile. Jody Scheckter, legendary racer, Formula One champion, now joins us. Jody, always great to have you. Welcome to the show. Oh, I'm not sure we have Jody on the line. We're going to try and get him back on the line here. We're going to be speaking to Jody there, of course, about all things Formula One. Let's see if we can get him. Oh, there he is. Hey, Jody.
Yeah, hi, I'm back on now.
How are you?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you loud and clear. How are you?
How am I? I'm falling asleep. I'm in Philippines. It's like 1 o'clock.
What are you doing there?
I couldn't tell you on your program.
Jody, whenever you come on the show, when you leave, we get asked, when are you having him back? People absolutely love it, and they say you got a great sense of humor. I don't know why. But nonetheless, welcome back. Always great to have you and your voice in South Africa. I'm pretty sure you found out way earlier than we did. Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari. Big news. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think from his point of view, I think it's more interesting. He's been with Mercedes all the time. They're not quite as competitive, but sometimes you want to change it. And he's done nearly everything that you can do, and Ferrari is a completely different circumstance. When you're driving for Ferrari, you're driving for Italy. It's not that no other team is like that. And so, from an interesting point of view, it's like fresh. It's a new job if you want. So it's a new challenge, and I think you'll enjoy it.
Well, I hope so too, but as far as Mercedes is concerned, this surely leaves them in a bit of a lurch, and they're working so hard to get back within that top 2, top 3, not just to be third to Mercedes, or rather to Red Bull and Ferrari, but to get up there. They're working so hard for the things that Lewis Hamilton had asked to be different with this car. To lose Lewis, surely it's a big blow for them.
Yeah, I mean, losing somebody like Lewis is a big fallout for everybody. But, the young guys are coming on now. Lewis is still doing it for me, doing a great job, but the young guys coming up, so they've just got to deal with it, that's part of life, isn't it? But from Lewis's point of view, I think it'd be nice and exciting for him, a new challenge, yeah.
Do you think he fits in at
Food's
Ferrari?
better.
You know the culture.
Food's better there as well.
You know the culture better than most. Does he fit in there?
Sorry?
You've been there for long enough. You furniture now at Ferrari. Does he fit in at Ferrari? Does he fit in that culture? Because it's not just a team. You got to live the Ferrari way.
No, I think he'll fit in anywhere, in my opinion. You know, he's professional. He works hard. He knows what he's doing. I think he'll help them to get to the next level as well, you know, with his experience. I think, if you win races, you're fitting in. I think it'll be fine. They said the same about me when I go there. Oh, you'll never fit in. And I had a great time there.
You might have had a great time, but I'm not sure they think you fit in.
I had to fit in. You give them as much BS as they give you. It's okay.
Well, the big question then is, if there's one thing that Lewis Hamilton wants, as much as he loves and respects Ferrari and, of course, the 7 won by Michael Schumacher, it's winning that 8th. And Ferrari, I'm pretty sure, would want to be the team that if the record is going to be broken, it must be broken by them. Does he have a chance of 8?
Yeah, I mean, he has a chance, but you never know with Formula One. You know, it's the cars change from season to season, and then people develop within the season. So you can't. But I think with him there, they should do better than they've done before because he's had so much experience. He knows what he's doing. He's a smart guy, you know. So I can only think it's a positive for Ferrari for him to go there. We'll see.
Jody, before I let you go, I mean, I got to take you back to a conversation we've had before as well. Ferrari, Lewis, doesn't matter who it is. South Africans want to host a Formula One. It's something that I know you've been very badly and wholeheartedly involved in that didn't quite turn out last year when it seemed so close. Is there a chance that can get reawakened? Is there a chance that we will ever see Formula One back in South Africa?
You know, I don't know. I think it was so close it could have happened. As I understand it, the guy from Kailami got greedy in the end. I think they'd come over to nearly sign it up, and when they left, he, changed everything. And I think the government said that, we're not going to do infighting, and they backed out because my nephew had spent 3 years, trying to put all the different pieces together, and it was there. So I don't know if they can get it back again. I don't know. The world's changing now.
That would be very sad because, I mean, like you said, we spoke to your nephew here on the line and he was excited as well. I mean, he spoke about how those issues were minor issues that needed to be sorted out, but seemingly they weren't able to sort those out. And as it stands now, nobody's having that conversation and it's dead in the water. And that's sad.
It's sad. South Africa's history in motor racing is massive. I mean, nearly more than in most countries, in fact. It's up there with Italy and all those places, So it's sad as anything not to have a Grand Prix in South Africa. But, if they can't get together, and they could have got together, it could have happened because Formula One wants a Grand Prix in Africa. They really do. And so, it was that close. But, people are people, huh?
Oh, Jody, always appreciate your time. Enjoy the Philippines and one on me.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Jody Scheckter there. Chiwas, I don't think there's any better person to interview, speak to, be around. Jody Scheckter is an absolute legend in every way, not only as a driver, but as a human.
The Metro FM Back to School Tour is back, coming to a city near you.
The kiddos are back at school, man.
Bringing you Metro FM's Back to School Tour with the Best Mornings team.
Right here on Best Mornings.
Catch your favorites, DJ Sabby and Candice Kardashian.
Needless to say, I went straight to detention.
Broadcasting live from Manor Gardens Primary School in Durban, KZN on the 2nd of February.
Do you have new classmates this year?
And wrapping it up on the 6th of February. We will be in Cape Town at the Grove Primary School.
Uncle Owen here. I've got a dad joke for you.
The Metro FM Back to School Tour with Best Mornings. Is where you want to be. Sports Night Amplified with a delay on Metro FM.
UEFA sports journalist Omar Katugba now joins us on the line. Omar, I'm waiting for my apology.
What an incredible result. No one expected it. Not even the biggest punters could have put their money on South Africa to win.
Yeah, that's because they don't listen to me. I would have told you that we're going to win.
Maybe you would have said it out of faith. You would not have put the money on that.
South Africa, Cape Verde, Nigeria, Angola. Who goes through?
Anything can happen.
Well done. Welcome to the Africa Cup of Nations.
I've learned my lessons the hard way.
You're traveling to Cote d'Ivoire?
Yes, I'll be there on time to see Nigeria, Angola.
I'm coming through. I'm hoping that South Africa stays to the semi-finals. On Monday, I'll be with you.
I hope so, because I look forward to meeting you in person. Bro.
Whether they're there or not, on Monday I'm there.
I'll start praying for South Africa. I'll start praying for South Africa.
Omar Katugba.
6 to 7 p.m. Sports Night Amplified with Andile on Metro FM. Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m.
Are they Formula One lovers in this country? Let's hear it from you. Of the conversation that we've just had now. 086 000 2160 060 552 7303. It is big breaking news. It's all over now as a kept secret, really. But I'd love to hear from you, your thoughts on it. Lewis Hamilton is finally red, something that many saw coming and spoke of for a very long time. It has been an absolute interesting battle to see him at Mercedes. Even with that car, the quality of Lewis Hamilton always shone through. And you almost feel that with the car Ferrari had last season, had they had a Hamilton-type driver, they would have definitely given Red Bull a run for their money. You know, maybe the car's a little quicker with a more experienced driver, but if you had had Lewis Hamilton in that car, one wonders what could have happened. We have to wait 2 years to see, but the way Formula One is, in 2 years, so much could change within those cars. Mercedes could be back top as far as the car is concerned. The regulations and the laws, like has been said, would have come into effect. And what are those going to do on the new build? We don't know quite yet. Let's hear from some of you via your voice notes.
All right, here we go. Call Metro FM now on 0860 002160. Drop us a voice note on 060 552 7303.
Waking up, I'm too turned up.
Good evening, Andile, and your guest. Andile, I just started to listening to your show now, so I am not sure if your guest has answered this question or he has touched on this issue. Lewis going to Ferrari. Is it Lewis believing that he can never win another championship with Mercedes, or it's only a money issue? Because this deal caught me offside. I still can't believe it. I thought it was a joke when Sky Sports posted it. I still can't believe it. It would be very, very difficult for me to be a supporter of Lewis at Ferrari. I hate that team. I hate Ferrari. Go see a PE.
See, listen, to be honest, the only reason I'm at Mercedes is because of Lewis Hamilton. Otherwise, I would not be at Mercedes. I don't mind being at Ferrari either. But I think the answer to that, we did speak about that a little bit with Chris Midland, and I think the answer to that is it's not the money. I don't think Lewis Hamilton would do anything for money. I do think it's career first, it's number 8 first. His frustrations over the decisions that were being made last season, the last 2 seasons, and not considering him were a big hamper on their relationship with Mercedes. But I feel, and this is speculation that Chris and I have, it's no good. I mean, we can never know because he hasn't spoken about it. But I feel that he's seen the car that they've got now, and he's seen their plans over the next couple of years, because they would have been trying to convince him. His contract does end in 25 anyway. And he said, I don't think I can do it with this car. That's the thinking.
Hi, Andile. This is Lebo from Pretoria.
Hey, Lebza.
Andile, I don't think we understand the magnitude of Lewis Hamilton. Him as a brand, him as a driver, the influence that he has. I mean, already it's reported that he's already added $10 billion to Ferrari's market cap. Only hours after the announcement. That's it. He hasn't even stepped into the car.
I saw that, yeah.
He has not stepped into the car, and look how great it is. So, yeah, I'm having such a good day.
I mean,
Tim Lewis, thank you.
You're spot on. You're spot on. As a brand, he's the most recognizable. Yes, he didn't win last year or the year before that, but he's the most recognizable Formula One driver, in fact. Because there's many different championships in driving and different codes, but he's the most recognizable driver of them all. What he's been able to do, not only for the sport, but you know how he stood up for issues and things that he believes in as well. He's transcended that. If Michael Jordan was, the big cog in NBA, if Serena was that for tennis, Michael and Serena have company in Lewis because he's been absolutely outstanding. Let's hear one more.
Ma'a, hope you're well, hope you're good. Congratulations for Lewis Hamilton. It's a good move for him.
I agree.
That it's a PR stunt that it made so much money, and just that announcement alone made massive amounts of change in the market. So definitely it's worth it. What I want to know really is, can we please have color size in Red Bull just to replace Checo? That'd be possible. Have a good one. Thanks.
That's an interesting one, Malcolm. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, boy.
Hey, Andile, this is Vuyo in Bram. There's this car that Lewis Hamilton was driving, I think 3 years ago, man. He was winning races and he was doing great. And then the last 2 years have been horrible. So I want to know, do they have to change those cars every year? Are the regulations saying you must change the car every season? And because if it's not broken, why change it? Or do they have to improve those cars every season? Because the cars that he's been driving for the past 2 years, man, they've been letting him down. I watch Formula One, man. You can see that this Mercedes-Benz car has been very slow. Red Bull. That's why Red Bull has been doing pretty well. I think Mercedes-Benz dropped the ball here, and they have themselves to blame. So Hamilton, in Maravai, Mercedes-Benz, maybe he's going to get the 8th one when it gets there.
Yeah, every single season there's new regulations that are being put on, but also there's improvements because, they would have seen their car and how it performs. So the new design is going to now go and fix all those little issues that they had to make it faster, to make it quicker, but staying within regulations. That's how it works every season. So if you keep your car, everybody else around you is going to get quicker because then they're working on their car to make it quicker and quicker. And what would then happen is if you make your car quicker, it needs you to change your car somewhat so that the aerodynamics of the car agree for safety purposes and for speed purposes. So therefore, it changes a lot more. It changes a wing here and there. It changes a front lap here and there, and so forth and so forth. So that's how it ends up being there. But you have to. If you don't, then you stay behind with the car that was only as quick as what last year's cars are. Everybody else then catches up.
Sawubona Andile nabalaleli emakhaya. Le ndaba kaLewis Hamilton iyangithusa nami kuze uqonde ngiqeda ukuyizwa manje nje ngoba ngilalela ishow yakho live. Yona ngithe mase uyichaza ngayibuka mina ngayifanisa noLodge ngoba uLodge he's a Pirate player and uyayithanda iPirates but ushintshile waya kuSundowns. I think hunger for his success sometimes iyayenza lento because uLodge ukade edlalelisa iPirates and mhlawumbe le CAF Champions League angazayithole yiyo le esisizathu. No Lewis Hamilton ngapha isizathu sakhe sokushintsha because asho yena himself ukuthi iMercedes ayisekho as competitive as he hopes it could get. So uyabona ukuthi Ferrari mhlawumbe izomsiza kube nalokuphula kwakhe leli record lika Schumacher and ke nalokuthi umuntu omnyama ngeke bakuvumele ukuthi aliphule ngoba phela udakhe. So kusazoba inkinga.
Listen, man, I really appreciate the football lovers on this show, because every journey we go on, if we decide, hey, let's get into wrestling, you're like, hey, Andy, let's wrestling, but they'll go on to it with us. And then they'll use football analogy to explain their understanding of the sport that we are now in. I love it. Thank you so much. Let's go to your calls. Umpo Siop has been holding. Umpo's out at Greenstone. Umpo's been blowing up my phone because he's excited. Umpo.
We are the Tifosi in waiting, Andy. We shall be ready we already know where to get it, and we will use the football analogy. Sundown sponsor will find more clients. To my good friend Sia in Gqeberha, we are the Tifosi in waiting. As much as Andile, the move was a surprise, but when you understand the cycle of Formula One engines, Ferrari is Lewis's best chance of number 8. Because if you look at Charles Leclerc and Carlos last season, they were the ones that were close to winning and actually pushing Red Bull, and Mercedes were no way. So that is probably Lewis's best chance of a number 8 if you look at that. Plus, if remember, Toto Wolff and his contract with Mercedes has just been sorted out. So there's been quite a lot of issues within Mercedes that have not set well for some time that needed to be sorting out that could have pushed Lewis to where he is now.
So you think it's a great move? You think he'll probably get 8 there? What do you think then happens to Mercedes? You think they still run? I mean, if they get a better car, 2 years is a long time.
It's a long time in Formula One.
Very long time.
Nobody has ever broken that. I mean, you remember when they dominated with Rosberg and Hamilton.
Oh,
and
what a great season.
So you've got to look at that, how the cycle is. The engines are not going to be changing. So everybody's literally stuck within certain elements of the engine. So you're not going to be changing for newer stuff. And Mercedes have shown they are not in the top 3 because even McLaren were starting to surpass them on the grid. So yes, they may have finished the points quicker, but higher. But if you look at Lando, was quicker than the Mercedes at some circuits. So for Lewis, if you look at what Ferrari are doing, Ferrari have got more room to improve and getting better with this cycle of engines until 2026. We are going for number 8. Red is the color. We are the Tifosi in waiting.
Oh, thank you so much, man. I always appreciate your call, Lusandawana. He's out of here. That's Mpo. Let's go to Archibald. Archibald is in Pretoria. Archie. Oh, sorry, man. I think he held on for too long, did Archie there. Let's go to Sibongeleni. Sibongeleni, now he has the F1. Ngiyala. Sibongeleni.
Sure.
Ngiyala, uyazi F1. Ngiyala.
Ma.
Uyangizwa?
Ngiyakuzwa ma.
Ngithi ngiyala i-F1 awuyazi.
Ngiyazi kahle mpela.
Awuyingene uyilandise ngikuzwe.
Lewis Hamilton has done a lot of things for Mercedes. Ngicabanga ukuthi manje kuyena it's not about ukuthi mhlambe akasekho happy. Ngicathi ufuna nje ukuthola ushintsho ajoyine elinye iqembu khona ezokwazi ukuthi enze kahle futhi. Mthatha nama-records wabhekile ukuthi ufuna ukwabreaka mhlawumbe uma efika kaFerrari. Ngicathi leyo nto yenziwa zothatha isinqumo sokushintsha.
So ukubona kwakho uyafana neningi nawo usho ukuthi kuyofanele ehambile ukuze akwazi ukuyiwina le S8.
Vela kukho kunye okungamsiza njengamanje. Kufanele nje athathe imithwalo yakhe ajoyine next year khona ezokwazi ukuthi a-achieve izinto azifunayo.
Awungitsheleke mina ngihamba naye ngoba kuwumuntu omnyama. So does this mean when he moves to Ferrari, are you coming with?
Kumina-ke nje kunjalo vele. It's like uCristiano Ronaldo wherever he goes.
Hey, yimi loyo ngibukela ibhola lase-Saudi Arabia. Kunzima. Sibongeleni, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Listen, many years ago when I wasn't really into F1 in that way, I worked with a guy who was a friend of mine. I was an editor here at the SABC. His name was Sizwe. And he was just so passionate and so in love. He knew nothing about football. You know, he worked here. He was a producer. He was an editor. He knew nothing about football. But he could tell you on Monday when the guys would gather to speak about football, he'd be that lonely voice in the back. He's never, ever had a reason to call into my show. So today I said, hey, here's a man that's entertaining us for the first time ever because Araz next ngebola. Good friend of mine, Sizwe, out in Durban now joins us. Sizwe, thank you so much for calling, buddy. How you doing, bud?
I'm well in you, my boy.
I'm telling them, you know nothing about anything else.
What are you talking about? This is my thing.
Formula One is your blood, it's your passion, it's your love, though.
Yes, you know what? When I heard about this earlier today, I was like, there's no way. But, you know, as the day progresses, it looked like it's a done deal, but we're still waiting for official confirmation from Lewis, Ferrari, and
Oh no, it's
Mercedes.
done, Caesar. It's so done.
Yeah, you know what? It's not done until they officially announce the date.
I'm so
but
sorry.
look, it's gonna
Why
be a massive
why
win.
would you want this to happen? On which side of the fence do you stand here?
Look, every driver at one point in their career in Formula One, they want to have driven for Ferrari before they leave. So I understand why Lewis would want to move, but also it's a gamble because. But he did the same gamble when he moved from McLaren to Mercedes because we didn't know what Mercedes were going to be like as a team. But now, also in 2026, when the regulations change, we don't know which car is going to be quickest. You know what I mean? So Ferrari could come out quicker than the rest, but yeah, let's see.
Tell me this, though, and the feeling and the thought, even from some of the experts that I've spoken to. I mean, we spoke to the man that broke the story here, from Racer Magazine, Chris, who came on. There's a feeling that he feels like he's done everything. He's won the 7 and he's happy with that. Even if his career was to end with 7, he'd be happy with that. I refuse to believe that.
I refuse to believe that. Lewis wants more. And you know what? Let's see how much improvement they're going to do with the current Mercedes car this season. Because, I mean, according to this deal, is only going to drive for Ferrari in 2025. So if Mercedes pull up their socks this season, he could very well get his 8th. And then he goes to Ferrari and gets a 9th. Wouldn't that be a story for days? So, yeah, I'm quite excited. I mean, Lewis is a massive, massive driver. And getting an 8th and a 9th and getting 9th at Ferrari, my God, folklore for days.
Who do you support? Which team do you roll with?
I'm a Ferrari fan, but I support individual drivers as well. Whichever team they drive for.
So this would be a marriage in heaven then, because you support Lewis and you support Ferrari. Him coming over is like Mecca for you.
Absolutely. That will be just
amazing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I see. Isn't that shitty, man? Bye-bye. That's my boy. You can hear he went to those schools in Durban. Yeah, those schools. Akafunda angibheka phambili. Ngifunde bheka phambili mina lapha eLamonti. Zange ngifunde kulezi ekhulumisa ngamakhala. Ngifundele okushini. So ningixolele. Bro bangihlula. Abaphumncam. It's 18:57. Thank you so much for going on this journey with us. Tomorrow's Friday. Nadeem is coming into this. Hold on, let's call Nadeem. We've got 2 minutes. Ask Faith to come in. No. I see the voice notes, man. Okay, what I'll do is I'll dial. While I dial, play one voice note. Ne? Okay, we're breaking the laws of radio here. Let's see if we can get a hold of him. Give me a line. Okay, you can play a voice note there. Lower this line so it's not so loud. There you go.
Good evening, Ma. No, this situation of Louis is similar to Lodge, man. It's basically that ideology that you want to achieve something and you're looking at the best possible option in a short space of time. So it can be for the better, it can again be for the worst. But best of luck to him.
That's the line ringing.
Good evening, Andy and the team. This is Nati from Cape Town. I'm a Red Bull fan. For me, I see like this, man. Hamilton going there to Ferrari, it's a revenue driven because Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc, they were not bad drivers. Now the question is, are they going to relegate Carlos Sainz to be like, okay, the reserve driver? And should it be so, between Hamilton and Charles Leclerc, who's going to be given like a preference? Like they're still 1 and 2. Who's going to be one? Who's going to 2? Given also like Charles just renewed the contract with Ferrari. It's going to be like, okay, a lovely season to watch. I just hope like, okay, maybe whoever runs Ferrari is going to do what Mr. Brown did, I think, a while back with Nico Rosberg and Hamilton while they were racing for Mercedes. Just to let them drive there and then not having preference to each and every driver. Just let them to be competitive. Thank you.
That's such a good chat. Thank you so much for that one. It gives us legs on this conversation to say we could have, a lot more. Faith, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks, and you.
You look so pretty.
Hey?
You look so pretty. What are those earthy colors? Are they? What are
Yeah,
those?
like pastel colors.
Oh, those
Pastel,
is
like
more pastel.
pastely pink.
It's really pretty.
Thank you so
I had
much.
a
I like
conversation
being a
with
girl.
I had a conversation with Touch a little bit earlier on, and it got me thinking. Right? What we all have that one thing that we fall for. You know, some people are good looks. They'll date, men or women that are good looking because that's what drives their engines. Some people will be like, yo, mina ibhodi umzimba. Men and women, it's all the same. Some, like them intellectuals, they call themselves, and you see it everywhere on Twitter, sapiosexuals.
Yeah.
Sapio, of course, has got a lot to do with Abdullah, blah, blah, blah. We could go about the Greek word. We can get into that. And then some are, I really like a comfortable life, so I don't care what the person looks like, sounds like, their level of intellect. I just like money.
Yeah.
That's more women than there is men, but it's
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
It's both equally. Where do you fall in that? What is your
It
thing?
is the month of love, huh? It is the
It
1st
really
of February.
is.
It really
So
is.
what
the
is your thing?
What's my woo thing? Do you know what I love? I love a manly man. I love a man who will say, I've got this. I love a man who will say, I've got you. Because it allows you, look, this comes from knowing the type of woman that I am. As feminine, I mean, you get to describe me, right? As feminine as I am.
Extremely.
I'm very feminine. I've got the eyelashes, I've got the hair, I'm wearing pink, for goodness sake, right? But my energy is very masculine. So as much as I'm feminine, I'm still the woman that is able to tell you where to get off, right? So I've got that both that yin and yang, that masculine energy and that femininity in looks. So I like a man that is going to make me completely feel like a girl and fall completely into my feminine energy. So if you say things like, baby, I've got you, or baby, I've got this, or you hold my hand, and there must be a little bit of, I know it sounds
Is this
so
a
unpopular.
financial thing?
It doesn't even
When
have
I
to
say
be.
I've
Like
got
I've
you?
got, like, if I called you and I had a bad day, listen to me. No, utlo bashab. Or you're going to be okay. Emotionally, hold me, hold the space for me. Physically, hold me, hold the space for me. I like a man who's a man, so that I can, if I can say to you, daddy, I think that's it. If I can call you daddy, you must know that's how you get me.
Jesus, as a father, I so hate that. But
No,
as
not in a
partner, I
fatherly
get it.
kind of
as
way.
As a partner, I get it.
Yeah,
Claire
not like
Marisa,
in a...
Almost 10 years ago, Claire
Yeah.
Marisa said something that changed my life.
What did you say?
She said to me, sometimes when we speak to you and we're telling you and we're sharing, it's not because we want you to do anything about it or say anything about it, but we just want you to listen.
Just listen. And if you've got that daddy energy, not a father energy, don't get it twisted, don't be weird. But if you've got like that daddy energy and I can go, ooh, daddy, you must know. That's how you have me. That's how I become like putty in your hands.
Look at me. What am I doing right now?
You licking your lips?
No.
What are you doing?
I'm listening.
Oh my gosh, daddy. Gotta go.
It's 3 after the hour 7. What do you have coming up?
Lots in store for us this evening. You're making me blush. My goodness, and it's only a Thursday. We're first going to be speaking about ANC in KwaZulu-Natal, or really KwaZulu-Natal as a region for political campaigning. We're going to be seeing a lot of top 3 political parties that are going to be hosting their election manifestos in KwaZulu-Natal. What does the lay of the land look like politically for KwaZulu-Natal? We're in conversation this evening with ANC KZN Provincial Chairperson Siboniso Duma. He's in conversation with us this evening. We're also going to be looking at the impact of having the judgment on Israel by the International Court of Justice. We're going to go through it with Advocate David Zanzi as well as Nzalama Matebula, who's an international law lecturer at UJ's Department of Politics and International Relations. Then after 8 this evening, you guys are going to have fun. It's after 8. It certainly isn't after 8. It's different.
What are we doing?
It's very different. Okay, it's very different. Today we're talking hypnotherapy. We've got a hypnotist in the studio. Yeah, we've got a hypnotist in the studio. So we're going to be looking at hypnotherapy as a way of being able to tap into the subconscious or the unconscious mind. We're going to be looking at hypnotherapy to deal with our fears, hypnotherapy to deal with our personality, hypnotherapy to unravel some of the things that we've been keeping down inside. And I'm hoping that I told the hypnotist that, like the likes of Simplicity are going to get hypnotized and the likes. So it's going to be lots of fun.
Really?
Yeah, no, I asked her. I said, listen, I've got a few people that I'd like you to. So if you want to be hypnotized live on air, air on Metro FM, just say hi in the glass window, wave at us, and maybe you'll come in and then get, because you gotta see if it works. I'm gonna test this thing live on air. I'm gonna get hypnotized.
I don't believe in these things.
There's an element of me that does, but I wonder how deep it goes. So, simplicity. If he doesn't know how to become a technical producer, by the time we're done, we'll know that it worked.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it.
Let's hear it. I've met too many mentalists in my life, but let's hear it. It's about to go 5 after the hour 7. Faith, she's coming up. You're going to be listening with Faith from myself and my entire team. Hey, a special Olepara to Thabo Nkwala, the sound of this show. It's his week. We're celebrating him. Pela pela. And so me.
Welcome to the Urban Rhythm Revolution.
Listen,
Metro FM.
I'm the greatest of all time.
For all things urban,
I love this station.
It's where you want to be.